Prince Philip visited Australia more than 20 times during his decades of service to the Commonwealth. Sky News reporter Terry Galloway looks back at the Prince's proud and long association with Australia.
Prince Philip's first contact with Australia dates to the dark days of World War II. 1940, and as a young midshipman, Philip is in HMS Ramillies, escorting Australian soldiers to the Middle East. At war's end, and as First Lieutenant in HMS Whelp, he witnessed close up the surrender of Japan.
Being in Tokyo Bay with the surrender ceremony taking place in a battleship which was, 200 yards away, and you could see what was going on with a pair of binoculars. It was a great relief.
And then brought back to Australia, repatriated prisoners of war.
These people were naval people. They were emaciated, and they sat down in the mess. They were suddenly in an atmosphere which they recognised. You know, they were back in the mess, and the people, our ship's company, recognised that they were also fellow sailors. And so we gave them a cup of tea. But I mean, it was an extraordinary sensation because they just sat there, and both sides, I mean, our own and them, I mean, just tears pouring down their cheeks. I mean, they just drank their tea. They really couldn't speak.
After his wedding to Elizabeth and her ascension to the throne, the royal couple embarked on their tour of the Commonwealth nations.
I want to tell you all how happy I am to be amongst you and how much I look forward to my journey through Australia.
Such outbursts of spontaneous affection.
In 58 days in 1954, they visited 57 towns and communities, each offering a tumultuous welcome.
That's a happy picture of this fairy queen, who has, it seems, come magically amongst us.
Then in 1956, Philip embarked on a 5-month voyage in the Royal Yacht Britannia, a diplomatic mission that quickly became embroiled in scandal and innuendo. In Melbourne, Philip officiated in the opening of the Olympic Games.
I have to admit that it all came about because I was asked to start off the Olympic Games in Melbourne, where I made, if I may say so, the best speech of my life, which is exactly 5 words.
But according to reports of the time, Philip and his Australian equerry, former Navy shipmate Commander Michael Parker, indulged heavily in partying with some of Melbourne's smart set. Rumours of romantic entanglement surfaced. Parker's wife divorced him, and in a rare move, the palace issued a terse statement. It is quite untrue that there is any rift between the Queen and the Duke.
This adventure ended where it began, at London Airport, with a very happy family reunion.
In the 1960s, the Duke made 2 more solo visits down under, to Western Australia to inaugurate a nature reserve and to launch the 1962 British Empire and Commonwealth Games.
That the personal friendships which will be made in Perth during the next 2 weeks will serve to strengthen and sustain the links which bind our family of nations together.
And over that decade accompanied the Queen on 4 other world tours that encompassed every state in the Commonwealth.
After all the trials and tribulations of these past 19 years, after all the uncertainties and delays that have bugged its progress, there it stands. In all its shimmering magnificence, the Sydney Opera House, now, at last, complete.
And in the 70s, for the official opening of the Sydney Opera House, where the Queen delivered her speech under the difficult conditions of an open-air venue and strong winds.
And I congratulate the people of Sydney, and indeed of Australia, on this remarkable addition to its architecture and to its cultural and community life.
The royal visits to Australia numbered 23 in all, some very smooth sailing, some not so smooth, the Prince at times reacting angrily to being harangued by the media, and asking a group of Aboriginal dancers, do you still throw spears at each other? On meeting acclaimed actor Cate Blanchett and learning that she worked in television, Philip asked, can you fix my DVD? And during his visit to Papua New Guinea, asked a student, you managed not to get eaten then. Despite the occasional hiccups, the Duke of Edinburgh's affection for Australia and its people spanned his 70-plus years as the Queen's consort and earned him a knighthood controversially bestowed by then Prime Minister Tony Abbott in the Order of Australia. Terry Galloway, Sky News.